What if everything that happened was part of fate? This single question, whispered on a windy autumn evening, became the cornerstone of a love story that felt as though it was written in the stars long before either of them took their first breath. It was a question that Zheyuan had asked himself 1,000 times over the years, staring out the window of his studio apartment in the bustling heart of Shanghai. The city, with its relentless energy and neon lights, often felt like a dizzying maze, yet his thoughts always found their way back to a singular, constant point, a girl named Zhao Lusi. A chance encounter at a coffee shop, a shared umbrella in a sudden downpour, a missed connection at a book signing. Every moment that had led him to this point felt less like a coincidence and more like a carefully orchestrated symphony, with him as the last instrument to join the melody. Zhao Lusi, on the other hand, was a pragmatist at heart, a successful architect. She lived in a world of blueprints and precise measurements, of logic and structural integrity. The concept of fate was a poetic luxury she could rarely afford. Yet, she couldn't deny the strange, magnetic pull she felt when she walked past the old bookstore on the corner of Huihei Road, the same bookstore where she had first seen him 5 years ago. He had been laughing at a comic book, his head thrown back in pure, unadulterated joy. She had been rushing to a meeting, her briefcase heavy with proposals, and had only paused for a fleeting second. That second, that single, unguarded glance, was a fractal that would expand to encompass their entire future. They didn't meet that day, but he had become a ghost in her machine, a memory she couldn't quite delete, a what if that lingered in the quiet moments. The universe, it seemed, was determined to finish what it started. Their reconnection was not a grand, orchestrated event, but a quiet, serendipitous collision. Zheyuan, now a successful children's book illustrator, was hosting a workshop at a local community center. Lusi, tasked with designing the center's new annex, had come to survey the site. She walked into the main hall just as he was demonstrating how to draw a clumsy dragon, his audience of children enraptured. He looked up, and his world tilted on its axis. He would later describe it as seeing a familiar painting in a different light, the same strokes, the same colors, but now he understood the depth of its meaning. She saw the boy who laughed at a comic book, now a man who made children laugh. It was in that moment that the fragile architecture of her belief in pure coincidence began to crack. Their reunion was a delicate dance of awkward silences and nervous laughter. They talked for hours, first about the center, then about their lives, and finally, about the strange, undefinable something that had hung in the air between them for half a decade. Zheyuan revealed he had been drawing a character for years, a girl with bright eyes and a determined smile, who always seemed to be looking for something, the same way he felt he had been looking for her. Lusi, in turn, confessed that she had kept the memory of his laugh like a secret treasure, a piece of warmth she had tucked away in the corner of her busy life. It was a gradual peeling back of layers, a slow, heartwarming uncovering of two souls who had been mirroring each other's solitude from afar. As they began to spend more time together, the realization that they complemented each other became an undeniable, living truth. Zheyuan's world was one of vibrant colors and boundless imagination. He saw the whimsy in a crooked building and the emotion in a shadow. Lusi's was one of function and form. She saw the structure in a story and the blueprint of a life. He taught her to look at the clouds and see dragons. She taught him to appreciate the solid foundation of the ground beneath his feet. It was a perfect equilibrium, a balancing of the creative and the practical. Their first date was not a fancy dinner but a walk through an architectural park he had never visited, where she explained the history of each structure, and he pointed out the little stories hidden within the designs. His descriptions breathed life into the stone for her, and her explanations gave substance to his fantasies. The simplicity of their daily lives together became the most profound part of their story. A simple glance across the dinner table, his eyes crinkling at the corners as she told a story about a difficult client, was enough to make her heart skip a beat. A small gesture of affection, like the way he would leave a small, hand-drawn sketch of a bird or a flower on her bathroom mirror when he left for work, became the pillars of her day. He learned her coffee order by heart, the exact temperature and the precise amount of oat milk. She, in turn, would iron his shirts with a meticulousness that amazed him, finding a quiet satisfaction in ensuring the man who painted magic onto paper would have a crisp, wrinkle-free canvas for the world. These small, insignificant things were, in their collective narrative, the very fibers of fate. Zheyuan's series of children's books, The Adventures of Lulu the Lost Star, which he had been working on for years, took on a new meaning. Lulu was a star who fell from the sky and had to find her way back home. He realized now that Lulu wasn't just a character, she was a reflection of Lusi, a bright, radiant entity searching for her place in the universe. With Lusi in his life, the ending he had struggled to write for years suddenly became clear. Lulu didn't need to find her way back to the sky because she had found a new home on Earth, in the heart of the boy who found her. He began illustrating the final pages with a fervor he had never known, his hand moving with a purpose that felt divinely guided. The proposal, when it came, was a testament to their entire journey. It wasn't a loud, public spectacle, but a quiet, intimate moment within the walls of the old bookstore on Huihei Road. He had asked the owner if he could set up a small, secluded corner for a private event. The owner, a romantic at heart, agreed. Zheyuan had framed the first sketch he had ever done of Lusi, the one he had drawn years before, with a small heart in the corner. He had collected the small, handmade gifts he had given her, the pressed flower, the note promising to make her laugh, the sketch of a happy little building. He had created a timeline of their love story on a small table. When he led her inside, under the pretense of showing her a new display, she was speechless. She saw the sketch, the one he had told her about, and the tears began to well in her eyes. She saw the first napkin he had doodled on during their second meeting, a clumsy dragon holding a flower. He took her hands, and they were trembling slightly. He didn't use a long, poetic speech. Instead, he said, "You were the what if I never stopped wondering about. And now, you are the answer to everything I ever asked." He got down on one knee, the floorboards of the old store creaking under his weight, and held out a simple, elegant ring.